Hey guys, we're super excited to be here at the LA Fit Expo. It's our third year in a row. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs. And we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Wednesday, October 14th, 2020. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a loaded edition of Recap Wednesday on tap for you today. So let's not waste any more time and jump right into the action. We're starting with a recap of the bikini division from the Battle in Desert Pro, where Ashley Kaltwasser got herself back on track with another big win. Second place went to the talented Maya Astabi, and closing out the top 3 with the best effort of her career was second-year pro Alexandria Ross. In the men's physique division, Jason Hunn's strong second-half run continued with him pushing together his best effort of the year to clinch the easy win. The dangerous Charjo Grant did enough to slide comfortably into second, and rounding out a surprising top 3 group here was Benkwil Maragji. Now, I know you all tuned in for a recap of the Europa Championships, but for us to do this right, we need to split things up into 2 separate segments, so I'm starting first with the men. The biggest shocker of the weekend came in the open bodybuilding division, where friend of the show James Hollingshead earned his first win as a pro by putting together a look that was absolutely undeniable. In the 212 division, our pre-show prediction, Angel Calderon, came through in a big way by steamrolling everyone in the lineup on the way to collecting a pretty decisive win. In classic physique, Italy's own Giuseppe Christian Zagarella did enough to separate himself from the pack and clinch his first career win in the process. And closing out our coverage of the men's events in the men's physique division was Yusuf Dejudi. Before we move to the women's events, I want to take some time to talk about Big Ramy, who wasn't on the stage last weekend, as some of you may have heard. For those of you who didn't, late last week, Ramy's team announced that he had tested positive for COVID-19 just before he was set to travel, which obviously forced him to scrap any plans that he had to compete for the next few weeks. In response, Ramy did a release on a statement where he thanked the fans and sponsors and promoters for their support, which was gracious on his part, but I'm sure it didn't do anything to quell the frustrations. This was weeks and weeks of hard work and sacrifice down the drain again, and at a certain point I'm sure he has to be wondering if this whole season was jinxed from the start. That being said, given the circumstances, I'm sure there's still an option on the table that hasn't been explored yet. So once he's able to get back to business, I'm sure they'll figure out whatever move makes the most sense going forward. Now, let's move on to the women's side of things, where I want to start with the women's bodybuilding division, which was dominated from start to finish by winner Margarita Zamolova. In fitness, Finland's Minna Pajulati pulled away early and never looked back on her way to clinching her first win. The figure division was fascinating for a lot of different reasons, not the least of which was eventual winner Ria Gale, who was as good as advertised. In bikini, Poland's Andriana Kazmarek bested a deep lineup that featured a handful of former Olympians to secure her first win. In women's physique, French native Anne-Lorraine Mon punched her ticket to the first Olympia by delivering a standout performance here. And wrapping out our coverage of the weekend is the wellness division, Angela Borges, who looked amazing in her pro debut. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.